So here's a good lesson on how to estimate your percents. So when you come out with some crazy answer, you can look and actually recognize that it's a crazy answer. So we all know what estimating means, right? It means we're going to give a good educated guess, somewhere that's in the right ballpark. So in order to get good estimation, we need to use what's called compatible numbers. The definition for compatible numbers: numbers that you can work with easily in your head without having to do a lot of calculations. For example, 17 divided by 5 doesn't come out nice and neat and pretty, but I can do 15 divided by 5, which we know is 3. Sometimes you want to round maybe a little bit more than that. For example, let's say you wanted to do 90 divided by 37. Well, I have no idea what that is, but I can do 90 divided by 30. So you want to get as close as you can get with using numbers that you can quickly do in your head. So the blanks that you want to fill in for compatible numbers is going back to this example right here. You could do 16 divided by 4, which is easily done, or you can do 18 divided by 6, which is 3, or you can do the 15 divided by 5, which gives you 5. So it gets you in the right ballpark of the answer. So now moving on to our ways to estimate percents. Number one, use compatible numbers. Just like we did up here, you can round to the nearest number that makes it easy to do in your head, or you can round to common percents that you already know. For example, you know that 25% is 1/4 of something. So you could take and divide the number that you're given into quarters. For example, just to do a round, nice, even example, 25% of 100, you know, 1/4 of 100, which would, of course, be 25. Or if we're using the 16 example up here, and I take 25%, I want to take 1/4 of that. So I would divide the number by 4, and 25% of 16 would be 4. Another common one, you know, 50%. If you have 50% who voted yes, that means you have half of the people who voted yes. So let's say you're looking for 47%. We'll go ahead and round it to 50%, and you can work that quite easily in your head. Lastly, 33% is 1/3 of something, which means you're going to divide the number by, oops, I got a typo right here, by 3. And similarly to that, you can double that and do 66% would be 2/3 of something. So you could divide it by 3 and double it. So we can use compatible numbers to estimate a percent. We can round to a common percent in order to estimate a percent, or we can break percents into smaller parts, such as 15% is simply 10% of something plus 5% of something. And the reason why I picked that is because we typically tip our servers 15%. So it's very easy to calculate 10% of something and then half that and tack it back on to get that whole 15%. And we'll work some examples of that when we get to the applications lesson of percents. So let's try some examples. I want to estimate 21% of 66. Now 20% is close to that 21%, and we know that 20% is 1/5 of something. And I didn't include it up here in our common percents, but 20% means to divide something by 5. So I'm going to round this 66, because I can't divide 66 by 5 very well, but I can divide 65 by 5. I don't know where that equals 60 came from, but I can do 65 divided by 5, which of course is 13. For our second example, I want to estimate 36% of 120, and 36% is close to this 33%, which means I can simply divide it by 3. So take the few minutes here, 120 divided by 3, and come out to your answer. And then I'm going to leave you to work the third example.